So we're joining our dark brown yarn to any second treble before the chain 3 corner space. So this would be your first treble before you chain 3 corner space, and this one here is your second. So we're joining there with a standing DC. And then we're chaining 5. So now we're missing that next treble, the chain 3 and the treble after that, and putting a DC into that next stitch, which is here. And then we're working a DC into each stitch along here. So we're working 21 DC, which should land us here in the same place that we started in that second treble before the chain 3 space. So 1, 20, 21. Okay, so now we can chain 5 again. And we're missing that next treble, the chain 3 and the treble after that, and join into here. And then we need to do another 21 DC all the way along here, which will land us there. Chain 5 again. So just do that all the way around, and then when you get to the end, do not join with an invisible join and cut off, because we're using the dark brown yarn for round 12. Okay, so I'll see you when you get to there. So now we've got to the end of round 11. We should have, in between each of the chain 5 corner spaces, you should have 22 DCs, because you miss your treble, chain 3 and your treble, and you start with a DC into that next treble, so that's 1, and then you do 21, so that'll be 22 along each side. So just make sure you've got them and you haven't cut off, because we're using the dark brown yarn again. So we're going to slip stitch into the chain 5 corner space. There we go. And then we're going to chain 3. And then we're going to work 3 trebles into that chain 5. So we've chained 3. We've trebled 3. Now we're going to chain 2 and do 4 trebles into that same space. And now we're going to work a half treble into each DC to here. And then we're going to work exactly the same into the corner. We're going to work 4 trebles, 2 chains, 4 trebles, and 1 half treble along each stitch. Okay, so I won't show you how to do a half treble into every stitch. I'll just start you off. So the first one will be here. Okay, so we're just working half trebles along every DC, and then into the corner space we've got 4 trebles, 2 chains, 4 trebles. Okay, so if you do that all the way around and then finish with an invisible join, and then we're on to the last round, which is round 13 with the cream yarn. So this is what round 12 should look like. You should have your 22 half trebles with your 4 trebles at each side, in between each of your chain 2 corner spaces. So you should have your 1, 2, 3, 4 trebles, 22 half trebles, and then your 4 trebles. So 30 stitches in total in between each of your chain 2 corner spaces. Okay, and then we can join with our cream yarn for the final round with a standing DC to any chain 2 corner space. Then we're going to chain 2 and work another DC into that corner space. Okay, so now we can work a double treble into this chain 3 space from round 10. There we go. Now we're going to miss a stitch and work a DC into the next stitch, then work another double treble into that chain 3 corner space from round 10. Okay, now we're going to miss another stitch. So we worked into that one, we're going to miss that one and work into this one. And we are working 24 DC. So 1, 2, right, so I've got to 24 DC there along here. So now I'm going to work from a double treble into the next chain 3 space from round 10. And I'm going to miss a stitch, missing that one, working a DC into the next, another double treble into that same space, then I'm working a DC into the chain 2 corner space, chain 2 and another DC, now I'm working a double treble into that round 10 chain 3 space, miss a stitch and a DC into the next, another double treble into that same space from round 10, and then we're missing a stitch and working a DC into each of the next 24 stitches. Okay. Right, so that's 24 DC. So now I'm working a front post, I keep saying front post because it's a double treble, just a double treble into this chain 3 space from round 10. Miss a stitch and DC into the next. Another front post treble into the same space. DC into the corner space. You chain 2 corner space, chain 2, another DC, then another front post double treble into the space from round 10. Keep saying front post, just a double treble, just do a double treble. Miss a stitch and a DC into the next, and a front post treble into the same space from round 10. There we go, and then we're missing a stitch and working 24 DCs across that edge. Okay, so that is the effect we're going for. It's really pretty. So if you continue working your corners the same as this and working 24 DC in between, then I'll see you at the end where I will have done an invisible join, and then we can just look at the overall effect. So that's round 13 completed, and this is what part 4 should look like. Okay, so now we've made 1, you need to make another 7 because there's 8 to make in total. Just a few things to look at for round 13. You should have your 24 DC here, in between your two chain spaces. You should have your DC into the corner, your double treble reaching down to round 6, your DC in between your 2 double treble, that next treble reaching down into the same place, 24 DC, a double treble, a DC, a double treble and another DC. Okay, and just making sure that you've missed a space, missed a stitch behind them double trebles. Okay, so I hope you've managed this square okay, and I hope you're happy with the outcome, and I'll see you next time for part 5.